Everyone hear me? Great. I'm Phillips. I'm Sustainability Coordinator for ASUA and the Project Director for the U of A Compost Cats. We started with a student idea, 3 students exactly. For that matter, I just want to recognize the fact that most of the initiatives in the direction of sustainability in the history of the University of Arizona have been student initiated, even while to succeed they were widely collaborative. And I want to recognize that the Compost Cats is a program that grew from a student idea to do something different than just throw our food scraps in the landfill from the student union, to a program which is now partnered with the city of Tucson and the Tohono O'odham Nation to reduce waste and the resulting methane emissions, for instance, and train also the next generation of environmental change makers while we're at it. Ones like these here, Emily and Taylor, who are going to speak to you in just a moment. We intend to end food waste, approximately, in southern Arizona over the next few years. That obviously won't be done just by composting. But learning more, facts like 40% of all the food in the United States never ends up on anyone's plate before it hits the landfill. Even while the state of Arizona is 3rd worst in the nation for childhood food insecurity. One state next door, the state of New Mexico, is the 1st worst in the nation for childhood food insecurity. Anyone know what the number 2 is? It's a trick question because it's Washington, D.C. I think that says something. But we're also now working on seeking funding and collaborators on a project because we've become aware of the scale of food waste coming across the Mexican border. Roughly 7,000 tons dumped in one landfill at Rio Rico, for instance, most of which could still feed people. We're now partnering with other parties, including TUSD, working on converting a closed TUSD high school to a major food processing facility and food education center for TUSD schools and other Tucson schools, where we can actually also employ refugee and youth at risk communities in the process of processing that food and turning it into extending the shelf life so that it can be gotten out to people who need it all year round. So before I turn it over to Emily and Taylor, 2 of our outstanding Compost Cat students and young food justice scholars themselves, I'm just going to read a quote. One of the great liabilities of history is that all too many people fail to remain awake through great periods of social change. Today, our very survival depends on our ability to stay awake, to adjust to new ideas, to remain vigilant, and to face the challenge of change. That's Martin Luther King. One of the things I say to my students is that if we look, whether it's Washington or at our state government, we see little reason to believe that in the face of some of what will be the great challenges of our time, climate change, ecosystem decline, the resulting human rights crises that will come from that, we see little reason to believe that those currently in power will affect change at the rate we need it. Therefore, it's going to be students like the U of A Compost Cats and others in this room who are going to make that change happen. So, Taylor and Emily.
Hi everyone, my name is Taylor. I'm a senior in Sustainable Plant Systems and I am the Sales and Business Development Manager for Compost Cats. So Emily and I stand before you today to thank the Haury Endowment so much, and then not only that, but also to describe to you kind of how our program works, what we do on a daily basis, and the impact that all of us are feeling on our communities. So so as Chet described, the Compost Cats, it's a student-run composting operation. You saw some pictures of, sorry there's not many pictures, we're better at driving tractors than we are at taking pictures, documenting this stuff. But yeah, so what we do is we turn it into compost, and for those of you that don't, you probably already know, that it's an organic soil amendment, so we sell it to farms and gardens, and we actually, a large portion of it is donated to a lot of community gardens and stuff like that. So so what started out as an initiative by 3 students to compost the food scraps from the student union, it's become a commercial composting operation that has diverted over 6 million pounds of waste from the landfills. So most college students consider themselves lucky if they get a job that gives them any worldly fulfillment. But in Compost Cats, we are literally knee-deep in it. Like, we're knee-deep in tomatoes and cucumbers and squash. That's being diverted from the Rio Rico landfill last summer. Over the 2 years I've spent with Compost Cats, I've had the opportunity to engage with the Tucson community more than I would have ever imagined if I hadn't joined Compost Cats. So I get to speak in front of entire restaurant and grocery chain staffs about how to sort their food waste. I get to shake hands with the Community Food Bank of Southern Arizona directors as they receive a fresh heap of compost, knowing that it's going to go towards their program for building gardens for low-income families. I get to laugh at the 4-year-old fan club as they chant and scream in excitement as the trailer tilts to dump their compost, which goes towards their garden. That was last week. We've got some pictures up there. I get to feel the love of a stranger when they hug me after I sort their waste at TMY, because they're absolutely so grateful for what we do. And it's just strangers coming up. We get it all the time. This organization has grown tremendously over the last 4 years, thrusting itself into the community with students on the front lines. We have each gained so many useful skills that will no doubt send us into the real world prepared, even if we prefer not to graduate and just to drive tractors with our friends for the rest of our lives. The students in the audience, we've got most of our Compost Cats here, they really, truly care about the future of food and justice and the environment, and we've got the compost under our fingernails to prove it. Now I'd like Emily to say some more about her experiences.
Hello everyone. So as Taylor said, my name is Emily Soderberg, and I'm a senior studying sustainable built environments. To name all the lessons and skills I've learned at Compost Cats would really take hours, but certainly one of the most important ones I've learned in my time is community networking. As the Compost Cats events coordinator, it's been my job to meet with local organizations and businesses and essentially facilitate partnerships. We worked with organizations such as the Heirloom Farmers Markets, the Living Streets Alliance, and the Southwest Folk Life Alliance. I really think that the beauty of the Compost Cats program is its ability to give passionate and hardworking students ample responsibility and watch them rise to the occasion. Now, I'll be honest with you, I didn't know much about running and managing a waste collection service for thousands of people before joining Compost Cats, but now I do, and it's because of the great people I've worked with and the amount of trust and guidance and understanding that I was given, and that certainly empowered me to rise to the occasion. So in that vein, really, probably the most important lesson I've learned from my tenure with Compost Cats is that I'm much more capable than I ever really thought possible. Sorry, nervous. If you told me when I was a freshman at the U of A that I would learn to drive a tractor or teach a 5th grade class about sustainable agriculture or run a farmer's market stand on my own, I would tell you you're crazy. But because of the supportive community that I've worked with, I can truly tell you that I'm not the same person that I was a year and a half ago. This program has truly changed my life. And one of the best examples of that is it's made me find my passion for food justice, and it's a path that I hope to follow for the rest of my career. So in conclusion, the UA Compost Cats are more than just part-time student workers. We are active citizens striving every day to change the community that we love. Thank you.